No one can escape their past. The sins we've committed, and the sadness we've caused. No matter how far we run, our past remains, as ever-present as the moon in the sky. It looms in wait for the day when we are forced to face it. But only in doing so can we truly make peace and move on in hope towards tomorrow. December 20th, 1:23 p.m. Wright Anything Agency. They took Athena from the courtroom straight to the station. She's probably being questioned at this very moment. After this past year, I took it for granted that those two would always be here. But now, Apollo's gone off on his own to seek his own truth. And my pursuit of the truth only ended up with Athena becoming the new suspect. Some boss I turned out to be. It's even quieter in here than usual. Yeah, seems so empty too. I just don't get it, Daddy. All of your reasoning during the trial seemed perfectly solid. Yeah, and I still believe it was, at least based on what we know. But now, Athena's the one who's being accused. During the trial for the bombing and murder that occurred at the Cosmos Space Center, the lighter used by the real culprit was found. This lighter proved the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, innocent. But Athena's prints were found on it instead. And she was subsequently arrested for the murder. But Athena couldn't have done it. It just doesn't make any sense. No, not if it does. I've been raking my brain, but I just can't figure it out. Where is the flaw in my reasoning? What if I got wrong in my case? You know, Daddy, if Athena was here, she wouldn't just be sitting around thinking. She'd be out there doing something. You are going to defend Athena, right, Daddy? Of course I will. And thanks, Trucy. I needed that push. Trucy's right. The trial's tomorrow. There's no time to waste. If I'm going to prove Athena's innocence, I better get out there and find some evidence. Off we go then. We're on a hunt for evidence that will prove Athena's innocence. Great! But before we go, I'd better tidy up the evidence I have on hand. Athena's probably still in the middle of being questioned. So Trucy's right. The thing to start with is talking to people at the Space Center. I guess presenting your attorney's badge is like your quick trick, huh, Daddy? Hahaha. So it's just a trick to you, huh? Well, you are one of the talents in our Wright Anything agency, after all. But I have to say that an attorney's badge won't get him many laughs. I don't care if I don't get laughs as long as I can clear my client's name. Ha ha ha. That's a good one, Daddy. I'm no match for you, though, Trucy. Daddy, you should be careful about showing evidence to a magician. That's true. You can make anything disappear. Well, anything up to about a yard in diameter, anyway. My magic pennies are an extra-dimensional space. I guess only a space probe can help us figure out how they work then, huh? Alright, let's get out of here. December 20th, Cosmos Space Center entrance. They're at the Cosmos. Do you have a minute? Galactic scooter, full speed ahead! Director! He scooted away. His expression changed the instant he saw you, Daddy. Yeah, well, I dragged his name through the mud pretty good at the trial earlier today. Alright. December 20th, Cosmos Space Center boarding lounge. We were here only yesterday. Oh, hey! Mr. Starbuck, you've been released, huh? Yep, I came straight here. This is all thanks to you and your team, Mr. Wright. You've given me a second chance to fly into space again. I can't thank you enough. Except... What's wrong? I thought he'd be happy to be acquitted. As I was coming out of the detention center, I saw Miss Sykes. He saw Athena. I was at a loss for words. I didn't know what to say to the poor girl. And then, you know what? She flashed a peace sign at me. Congratulations on your acquittal, she said. Now you can go back to space someday. Yeah, that sounds like Athena. I can just picture it. But I saw her eyes. They were red and swollen from crying. She's got to be suffering. She must be so worried. And yet she went out of her way to be nice and give me that big smile. She held back her own tears so she could give someone else a smile. That's so Athena. There's no question about it. That girl is innocent. Please, Mr. Wright, you have to make sure she goes free. And then they can put me in prison instead. I don't mind. Can't have that either, Mr. Starbuck. Don't worry. Mr. Starbuck, I'm going to give her the very best defense I can. I promise to get her acquitted. Just like I did for you. I know she'll be alright with you in her corner. I know you'll never give up on her. Apollo has a fine boss to look up to. I still can't believe Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum. What could have made Director Cosmos do such a thing? I haven't the foggiest. So there never was going to be a launch that day? Not from the very beginning. I wonder if Clay knew. I imagine he must have. Surely he would have noticed when you went to board the rocket. It's pathetic to think I was the only one who got taken in. I guess that's about how it goes when you're worth less than space debris. Is he going to be alright, Daddy? His expression looks as dark as a black hole. Well, that's just how he is. So, Starbuck, do you remember anything about the murderer? Not really. I only saw a shadowy figure in the dark after all. Yeah, I guess that was a little too much to hope for. Hey, I heard something from the police, though. They said they never did find a 10 caliber gun down that trash chute. Just as I thought. The culprit must have carried it away with them when they escaped. So, was the person you saw holding a gun, Mr. Starbuck? I can't really tell. But it wasn't Athena, right? Could you tell if the person was male or female? Tall or short? I can't even tell you that much. Man, I'm useless. When the culprit opened the door and some light came in, I should have been able to see. The door? Ah, yes. As I recall, they opened this door here as they made their escape. The door to Launchpad 1, right?
Yeah, except right now, the door leads to the Space Museum.
You mean the launch pad and the Space Museum are switched right now?
Yeah, they're trying to investigate the theory you came up with in court.
So they're recreating the conditions, huh? I'd like to see what's beyond that door now. Mr. Starbuck, could you open this door for us?
Sure, just let me have my print scanned here.
Do the launch pads get switched back and forth a lot?
Well, back when the Space Museum was Launchpad 2, they used to switch the pads around at times.
But these days, Launchpad 2 is only used as a tourist attraction, right?
Right, because, quite frankly, the Space Center needs the money.
I hear ya. Them sure are tough.
Daddy, let's go check out what's beyond that door.
Sure, let's go.
Hey, why don't I come along? I can show you around.
Okay. Oh, cool. So, this is another one of those devices for opening the door, huh?
Yep. This one doesn't require fingerprint verification. You just hit the button and open sesame.
So when you and Clay went through here, you didn't need to show your prints either. That's right, Trucy. Just like how the culprit didn't need to scan their prints when they escaped back out of the Space Museum corridor into Boarding Lounge 2. Huh? I wonder what these dead leaves are doing here. Maybe they were stuck to the bottom of somebody's shoes. There are lots of trees around the Space Center. She's right. It's a modern state-of-the-art building, but it's surrounded by trees. But I don't know. If they were stuck to the bottom of somebody's shoes, wouldn't they look more crushed up? These don't look like they've been stepped on. Maybe there's some kind of secret hatch in the corridor, and they came in that way. Not everything is set up like a magician's stage, you know. Well, I don't see anything else that jumps out at me. And I imagine this corridor is built exactly like the Launchpad 1 corridor. Do you know anything about this piece of evidence?
No, sorry I'm so useless.
No, it's alright. There's no need to get all depressed. Okay, well. Thanks for the talk, I guess. It's time to go... Oh, what? Is there something we're supposed to present? Okay. So I guess that's it. We're okay. I guess now we go back to the entrance. See if anything has changed. Alright. December 20th, Cosmos Space Center entrance.
Curse the ritual, still at my good name.
Reverse course and full speed away! Director Cosmos, wait! I'll handle this, Daddy. Take that!
The mobility system has been compromised.
Trucy's knife throw was a direct hit to one of his tires. And the streak continues. Maybe I should have kept a closer watch on what tricks she's been practicing.
My dear old battleship, we fought many a skirmish together. It has been an honor.
Daddy, he's going to blow that thing up. Nah, I bet all that button will do is make it go haywire again.
Very well, I surrender. As a prisoner of war, I expect to be treated honorably.
Right then.
Mankind's crowning achievement, the Het 1 mission, will be in textbooks across the land.
Wow, that is that historic, huh?
My achievements are grand enough to rival the very birth of space itself. My life will be a legend that will be told millions of years into the future. You may proceed to admire and praise me now.
You certainly are an amazing piece of work. Excuse me, but about this piece of evidence.
Let me ask you a question. What will that object contribute to the future of mankind?
What? Not much, I guess.
Huh, then how important could it be? Kinda like the great historical figure Yuri Cosmos.
If he's any more self-absorbed, he'll turn into his very own black hole.
What a shame. Truly, Clay was so young. He was an outstanding man who could have contributed greatly to the future of mankind.
He was an exceptional man, wasn't he?
If he had gone into space, my reputation would have grown even loftier. Why did he have to die before he went to space?
Someone needs to teach him he is not the literal center of the cosmos. Excuse me, but about this piece of evidence. Director Cosmos, when you were talking in court about switching the launch pads, you used your right to remain silent about the reason as to why. I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched the two launch pads to begin with.
Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say, my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast. The center of the cosmos is shrouded in mystery, but I don't have any secrets left. Now that my battleship has been destroyed and I've been taken prisoner.
Oh yeah? No secrets left, huh? I beg to differ. Looks like I'll have to undo his Cyclops if I want to get to the bottom of this. Okay. Can we do it now? Sure, let's give it a shot.
Take that!
I want you to tell me everything you're hiding about the switching of the two launch pads.
I refuse. You can't make me. I can hold out longer than anyone.
I hope I never get like this when I'm old. Now let's see, where to start? This is how you explain your motive for switching the launch pads. You did it. Thanks to you switching the launch pads, the astronauts escaped injury from the blast. Instead, they safely boarded the museum's rocket far away from the actual explosion.
Huh, my astronauts were ready to go on an authentic adventure in space. How do you propose I had them board a fake rocket without them noticing?
I agree you couldn't have done it without help. For one, they would have figured it out the instant they stepped into the Space Museum. You figured you could fool Mr. Starbuck once he'd been drugged with his medication, but without the help of this person, it would have been impossible to pull your plan off.
Take that!
You must have gotten Mr. Terran to help you. He stole the tranquilizers from his mentor's locker and slipped them to him. And then, with Mr. Starbuck in a daze, they boarded the replica rocket in the museum.
Someone please help this poor prisoner of war!
How is he able to spin around like that? If you really wanted to save the astronauts' lives, shouldn't you have just called off the launch?
If I could have done that, do you think I would have gone to all that trouble?
I guess he must have had a compelling reason why he couldn't call it off. How did you know to switch the pads in advance of the bombing incident?
Well, it's because I was warned in advance. Once I received that warning, it was my duty to ensure my astronaut's safety.
But it was just a warning. Could even have been a prank. Why did you believe in it so completely?
Because I went to one of those mediums that everyone's talking about these days.
Oh, I didn't realize channeling was back in vogue. Besides, I thought it was you yourself that got the warning via telephone.
Yes, that's right. The bomber contacted me personally. My battleship is equipped with a special advanced communication system, you see.
AKA a regular old telephone.
It's been a while planning another launch. I see you haven't learned. I'll never forget the terror I felt when I received that call.
The bomber said, "It's been a while." That was enough to make you take the threat seriously? Perhaps Director Cosmos took the threat so seriously because the Space Center had been involved in a bombing once before. Maybe the culprit in the current case is the same person who was involved in this incident? The Hat One Miracle, that epic story of survival. People across the nation know it now as a heroic tale of bravery, but in truth, it was an act of sabotage perpetrated by our current killer, wasn't it? Very few knew about the previous plot, so when the caller said, "It's been a while," you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the danger was real, and it wasn't a prank.
Didn't anyone ever tell you to go easy on ex-servicemen? Yes, the Hat One Miracle was really a desperate battle against an act of sabotage. I even lost the life of one of my staff members in the fight.
Sabotage. Murder. So this is the ugly truth behind the Hat One Miracle.
I let my guard down. I thought the saboteur had been caught, and that the case was closed.
Huh? Wait a minute. Murder at the Space Center 7 years ago. This must be the person Director Cosmos thought was the culprit.
Take that!
Simon Blackwell, the murder suspect in a case that happened here 7 years ago. The place and time of the two incidents, the murder and the sabotage, were the same. So you thought that he committed both crimes. While Prosecutor Blackwell was behind bars, you got another threatening call. If the culprit this time is the same as 7 years ago, then it isn't Simon Blackwell. Realizing that, you were shaken. It meant the true culprit's been running free all this time.
How do you keep seeing straight through me?
Alright. I'll be back.
Alright. Mr. Cosmos cannot hide behind his secrets anymore. It's time to learn the real reason behind the switching of the launch pads. Well, not the real reason, but... okay. Yeah, we know the reason. He got the phone call. What? Anyway, let's see what happens. The reason why Director Cosmos won't talk about why he switched the launch pads. That's it. It's connected to the truth behind the Hat One Miracle. The sabotage and murder that happened at this space center 7 years ago. Dr. Cosmos, tell us what you're hiding.
If you really want to understand the reason I decided to switch the launch pads, we'll have to start with the story of that horrible nightmare from 7 years ago.
7 years ago? You mean the so-called Hat One Miracle?
The launch went smoothly, but once the ship entered outer space, then the troubles began. It was all the handiwork of a certain person and their evil scheme.
So, Mr. Starbuck's traumatic experience wasn't accidental.
Not only that, but before the launch, a very valuable piece of moon rock was stolen. But that wasn't the worst of it. One of my staff members was murdered.
Wow, I had no idea such awful events were behind that exciting story of space heroism.
All that, in spite of the Space Center having very strict security in those days, all personal effects were examined thoroughly, coming or going. You couldn't even smuggle a withered old leaf through those checkpoints.
So, do you have any clue who was responsible for the sabotage?
At the very least, I know it wasn't Simon Blackwell. I don't know enough to identify the true culprit, but it's clear what that person is. To put it simply, a spy.
A spy? You mean somebody who infiltrates a foreign country, carries out dangerous missions, and always gets the girl? Someone's watching way too many late-night movies. Well, I guess if we're talking about blowing up a rocket and stealing research material, it's not all that surprising that a spy could be behind it all.
Make no mistake, there is cutthroat rivalry between nations in the space R&D race. Some try to outdo others by any means possible, even deliberate obstruction. 7 years ago, we got a call before the launch warning us of sabotage.
The same MO as this time.
Yes, and here I thought the perpetrator had been caught, but it looks like I was wrong.
Prosecutor Blackwell seems more like a ninja than a spy, don't you think?
Aren't ninjas and spies basically the same thing?
But there's a good reason we failed to find the real spy. A massive cover-up by the government. Government officials were too embarrassed to admit that they had allowed such a thing to happen at the hands of a spy.
Don't tell me they made the police rush the investigation.
They did indeed. And then to cover up the sabotage, they cleaned up the story.
That was the one miracle, wasn't it? But then, 7 years later, the same MO, advance warning of sabotage. That must have been the director's reason for switching the launch pads. 7 years ago, the spy gave you advance warning of their plans, just like this time. That was what made you decide to switch the launch pads, wasn't it?
That's right. The caller knew the facts of the case 7 years ago, despite the cover-up. They knew about the sabotage, the moon rock, the murder, and they said, "You don't want things to go like they did 7 years ago, do you?" I immediately thought of calling off the launch, but the government wouldn't let me. We don't give in to the likes of terrorists. We must proceed for our country's honor. It's quite a moving speech, actually.
Moving? Really? Maybe if you're easily inspired by political talking points.
But I knew the truth. We had been warned, which meant that the danger was very real. And I knew there was no way to stop this spy. No matter what I did, they would find a way. That's why I switched the launch pads and staged the moving rescue scene. First, I snuck into the center the night before and switched the launch pads. That way the astronauts would go from boarding lounge 1 to the Space Museum. Then I put a close for repair sign at the door to launch pad 1 in boarding lounge 2.
You did that so normal visitors wouldn't enter, right? What else did you do?
I enlisted the help of several staff members, including Terran.
They didn't let Mr. Starbuck in on it?
He'd already been through enough, and he's no good at lying to keep a secret. I'm afraid I had no choice but to have him drugged. My plan went well until...
Clay's murder, huh?
After the culprit made her escape, I switched the launch pads back. I did it in such a way that no one would ever find out. But after all that effort, Terran is dead, and the Hat 2 is destroyed. And the Hope capsule, which had returned to us only recently, was also lost in that blast. My home, the center of the cosmos. My beautiful Cosmos Space Center is done for.
Wait, what? What did he mean by the Hope capsule was lost in that blast? I thought that the Hope capsule was found at the crime scene with Mr. Terran. It had just been brought back by the Hope space probe with asteroid samples inside. So what kind of samples are they? What's in them?
The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since they just came back the day before Terran's murder. The capsule is being held in a safe in Launch Pad 1. But I gave it to Terran before the incident so it wouldn't be destroyed in the explosion. The idea was that with it safely in Terran's possession, you could make it look like he rescued it during the staged miraculous escape. But our precious research materials ended up lost to that explosion anyway.
But I thought Clay was supposed to keep it safe.
You misunderstand. The launch pad explosion wasn't the one the capsule was lost to. It was lost after the police confiscated it as evidence. It was the courtroom bombing from the other day. The capsule was there in the courtroom as evidence, and was blown to smithereens.
Yet another casualty of that blast.
Ultimately, I think the culprit may have known about the switching of the launch pads.
What? How?
The police found a wiretapping device during their investigation today. A bug aboard my battleship. A tap on my advanced communication system.
A wire on that phone?
Yes, a wire and this very phone. I used this phone to give instructions to my staff about the launchpad switch. Just to the few select members who knew about the plan. Just before the incident, staff members were coming in and out of launchpad 1. Culprit probably slipped in with them and amid the confusion.
And planted the bomb then? Yes, if they were tapping your phone, they definitely could pull something like that off. So you really think the same spy is behind this incident and the one 7 years ago?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Then this spy must be the phantom Prosecutor Blackwell has been chasing.
But Prosecutor Blackwell told me once.
The hunt I've been on for the Phantom of 7 years past continues even still.
For starters, that case happened right here at this very Space Center II. So if we can find this Phantom...
That's right, we can clear Athena's name. And then there's the matter of Prosecutor Blackwell too.
What about him?
Well, if the culprit of 7 years ago is the same person as in the current incident, it would mean Prosecutor Blackwell is innocent. That's still an if, though.
I wonder how dangerous that guy would be in court without handcuffs. But if we're going on a ghost hunt, count me in.
Hee hee hee. It's all over for me. Spin, spin, whirl, whirl. I'm done for. The center of the cosmos is doomed.
Do you think he's going to be alright, Daddy?
Well, at least he'll be in good company. There must be planets out there he can spin with. Which reminds me, I'd like to delve a little deeper into the Hat 1 mission, too.
If you want to learn more, start with the Space Museum. There's a Hat 1 exhibit there. Oh, don't mind me, I'll just keep spinning here and see how the cosmos unfolds.
It's like he achieved spiritual enlightenment or something.
I'm sure he'll stop when he gets dizzy. Let's go visit the Space Museum. Wee-oo. Okay, well, just leave you to it then. December 20th, Cosmos Space Center, Space Museum.
Let's see, where's the exhibit on the launch 7 years ago?
There, that's the Hat 1 exhibit.
Oh wow, look at that photo of the team.
There's Clay and Mr. Starbuck, Director Cosmos, R. Blackwell, and even Ponko. But I've never seen the woman on the right before.
Everybody looks so happy. Well, except for Director Cosmos.
Let's check out the newspaper article too. Hat 1 launch imminent, and there's a photo of the Hope space probe. I guess it's only natural it doesn't talk about the murder or the sabotage.
They really were keeping it a secret, just like the director said. Daddy, take a look at that jacket.
It must be the Hat 1 team's uniform jacket. It's the same design as the one Apollo is wearing, the one that belonged to Clay.
Actual jacket worn by Hat 1 team member, it says.
Not a replica, huh? I wonder if it was Mr. Starbucks's. Hello?
Oh. Miss Woods, what brings you here? I heard Athena got arrested, so I've been looking for you, Mr. Wright. I thought you might be here, at the scene.
You must be so worried, but rest assured, I'm going to do my very best to defend her.
Athena's going through such a hard time. I hope she doesn't lose her heart. Even just coming back to this place must have been really difficult for her.
Huh? You mean the Cosmos Space Center?
What? You didn't know? She used to live here when she was a little girl.
She did? No, I didn't know. No wonder she knew so much. Miss Woods, could you tell me more in detail?
Athena's mom worked here. If I remember right, she was a doctor of psychology or something like that.
The one was a psychology specialist working at a space research facility.
I don't really know. But I do know that she lived and worked here, so Athena lived here too.
So it was far from Athena's first time here. I wonder why she didn't mention it.
She probably didn't want to talk about it. This place is connected to a very sad memory for her.
A sad memory. Can you tell me more about it?
There was a terrible incident here. It was 7 years ago.
The same time frame as the Hat 1 launch.
Athena's mom, in the robotics lab, she was murdered. What? After it happened, Athena stopped coming to school.
Poor Athena.
And all this time, she never let on at all. I was so worried about her. I came here so many times, hoping to see her. But I never saw her again. After a while, we started exchanging letters. But I didn't get to see her face to face for 7 long years.
And so the first time you'd seen her in 7 years was during Professor Court's case.
That's right. And I was so surprised. She was like a completely different person. So cheerful and happy.
What was Athena like as a child?
She was very sensitive and kind. She didn't talk very much. She liked to draw and paint at home. That's completely different from the Athena we know now. I can't even picture it. She never left the Space Center much because she was very sensitive to other people's emotions. When she went to crowded places, she'd get dizzy from all the emotions flying around.
It must be hard to hear people's hearts as well as their voices.
She always wore those big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research.
Huh? I wonder what kind of research it was.
Because of her special ability, Athena couldn't handle being in school very often. And I was always out sick because of my weak constitution. Maybe that's why we became such good friends. We used to play together here at the Space Center a lot. It brings back memories. Sounds like Athena's mother played a big role here at the Space Center.
Oh, did he show her that picture? Atta girl. Good idea. Picture? What picture? Oh, in the... here? Miss Woods, could you take a look at this for me?
Oh look, there's Athena's mom. The woman on the far right, the one in the kimono. That's Dr. Athena Cykes.
Athena's mother is murdered. Did it by any chance have any connection to the Hat 1 launch?
What? Why, yes, it did. As I recall, it happened on the day before the launch.
Just as I suspected.
But that wasn't the worst of it. One of my staff members was murdered.
So this is the murder Director Cosmos was talking about. Does that mean that the crime Prosecutor Blackwell was convicted of is the murder of Athena's mother? There's a chance her death is somehow connected to the current case.
There is?
Thank you for all your help, Miss Woods. And please, try not to worry. I won't let anything happen to Athena.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. I know you'll take good care of her. So we need to investigate the robotics lab and also talk to Athena. We've got our plates full, Daddy. I hope we can fit it all in before the day's through.
The detention center first, then. We have to see Athena before visiting hours are over. Okay, fair enough. December 20th, Detention Center Visitors Room.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Lawyer, fancy meeting you here.
Oh, hello, Detective Fulbright. Here on business?
To tell the truth, I'm here to interview Ted Terran.
The one behind the courtroom bombing incident?
He suddenly said he's ready to tell the truth about that case. And what he was saying was so incredible, I just had to come right over to hear more.
Incredible. What was he saying?
Why don't you hang around and hear for yourself?
Really? Us? Are you sure?
I'll give you my special permission. Here comes the bomber now.
You, what nerve you have to come here? You're here to laugh at me, I suppose. Like I'd waste my breath on you. After all, you're the one who assaulted Apollo and put him in the hospital. Violence, no. Question, okay. No violence. Too bad Apollo didn't get a chance to say that before you attacked him. Fine. Then just answer me this, Mr. Tennant. What is this truth of yours about the courtroom you blew up? No, I didn't do it. I didn't blow up the courtroom. When I killed Detective Arm, there was another person in the room.
What are you talking about? Who else could have been there?
I saw it, I tell you. I saw someone's hand as they were sealing the remote switch. This person was there and witnessed the murder I committed.
What?
I don't know who it was.
That's who blew up the courtroom.
You expect us to buy that?
Easy there, Trucy. I don't see any Cyclops. So I guess he must not be lying. Pardon me, I got a little carried away. But I'm telling you the truth. I did not detonate that bomb.
And there you have it. We can't exactly ignore his claims, of course, so we're doing a follow-up. We're even analyzing the bomb itself, or what's left of it. We haven't found any new facts yet, though.
Wow, they've laid it all out, piece by piece. Oh, look at all those beautiful little pieces. I wish I could have them. Uh-oh. Looks like his geek switch has been activated. Interesting. Fragments are being analyzed.
Well, I hope you're ready for Prosecutor Blackwell's special brand of questioning.
Anything but that?
I'm afraid I have to be off now, too. I was just about to question Miss Sykes.
You're going to see Athena now?
That's right. Oh, did you folks come to see her? Sorry for the trouble, but could you come back later? Well, off I go.
What bad timing. Looks like we'll have to wait until after her questioning is over to see her.
After we came all this way, too. Well, I guess back to the Space Center. Let's go check out the Robotics Lab, Daddy.
Alright, sounds like a plan. Alright, no time to waste. Let's do this. December 20th, Cosmos Space Center, Robotics Lab.
So, this is the Robotics Lab, huh? Looks like it's exactly one floor above the boarding lounge.
Where people were directed to evacuate from via the emergency ladder. This is where Athena's mother was killed 7 years ago. Speaking of someone who works with robots.
Daddy, look! Over there!
So, they plan to use this bag to carry the capsule, is that right? Yeah, more or less. Say, why don't we stop talking about the case and have a nice cup of tea instead? Apollo and Aura Blackwell. I wonder what they're talking about. Well, come to spoil our fun, just when I was enjoying our alone time. Trucy, and Mr. Wright. If it's Apollo you want, you can't have him. He said he's investigating on his own. And I respect his wishes. We just came to investigate this lab. Well, this is my lab, so you'll need my permission if you want to do any snooping. I heard about the trial. You made mincemeat out of the director. And suddenly Starbuck was out and your little subordinate, the princess, was in. Case closed, and they all lived happily ever after.
Grr, Daddy, say something to her. And I suppose you're going to defend that princess in court, am I right? The princess, huh? Guess she's talking about Athena. Of course, Athena's innocent. Oh my, such loyalty and trust. She seems pretty suspicious to me, though. The emotionally unstable princess. There's your culprit for you. Don't you agree, Apollo?
I don't know yet.
Apollo, how could you? What's wrong with saying I don't know if it's true? It's a very scientific approach. Your subordinate is more level-headed than you, or should I say, former subordinate. I can't believe it. Does Apollo really suspect Athena? Phew, all this laughing has worn me out. Your turn to say something, hunk of junk.
Mr. Terran, you look pale. Shall I help you to the sick bay?
Mr. Terran. But that's Apollo you're talking to.
Oh, this hunk of junk here is mistaken Apollo for Clay. Maybe Apollo is possessed by Clay's ghost.
Mr. Terran, how are your injuries? Mr. Terran, how are your injuries?
I guess Clay intends to hang around to haunt the princess that murdered him. Oh, and to haunt the lawyer that defends her too, of course.
A robot that can see ghosts. Yeah, right. And I am a spirit medium. Sorry, but apparently scientists just don't tell very frightening ghost stories. I intend to defend Athena, no matter what you have to say about it.
Perfectly foolish. That kind of blind belief makes people lose sight of the truth. Just like 7 years ago.
Could you tell me more about the incident 7 years ago?
Why? Do you enjoy trampling on people's feelings and rubbing salt in their wounds? Or do you just want me to talk? In that case, what should I ask for in return?
I'd like to hear about that incident too. It'll help me understand the current case better.
Huh?
Apollo knows about that case too.
Well, if you're the one who's asking, Apollo. Come on, hunk of junk, you tell the story.
But Miss Aura, that's private information.
If you won't talk, I'll just have to make you talk.
Yes, who cares about personal privacy? Not me. I am ready to utilize my plus ability to impart all the information.
Wow, what a magic trick. He's like a completely different robot now.
The bodies of all the robots that come through this lab are designed by Miss Aura. I was born 7 years ago. Miss Aura was much younger then.
Yikes, better watch what you say if you don't want to get recycled, Congo.
And then our hearts were created by that great genius, Dr. Athena Cykes.
Hearts? Robots with hearts? Can you even make such a thing?
Emotions are not irrational things. Our logic and our hearts can be integrated. The two navigation companions created by Miss Aura and Dr. Metis transcend humans.
Metis. Huh? She just glanced over at her desk.
Nobody could continue Metis' research. She and her work were truly one of a kind. And now the two navigation companions are all that are left of Metis here on Earth.
The robots are all that's left. Isn't she living out a very important someone?
We built the ultimate creations together, but now she's gone.
I get the feeling Dr. Cykes loved her robots almost as much as she loved her daughter. And almost as much as she loved you.
What are you talking about? Don't make me laugh. But you lost someone too, didn't you, Apollo? Your friend, Clay. I guess you and I are pretty much in the same boat. Sigh.
Miss Aura, would you like a tissue?
Keep your trap shut, hunk of junk. Coco is an important keepsake of your time with Dr. Cykes. You should treat him better. What does it matter? He doesn't feel pain, and I can always repair his body. Besides, their hearts aren't actually in their bodies.
What do you mean by that? The program, Metis wrote, runs on a separate mainframe. Their bodies are controlled remotely from there. Their hearts and memories are there too. These bodies are really just peripherals. So, I can do anything I want to them. I'm not so sure that gives you the right to physically abuse the poor things. But why are you people looking into such an old case now, anyway? Well, we believe the culprit of that incident might be the same person as in this case. So Daddy's going to find out who killed Dr. Cykes, too. I'm sure you're aware of who Metis' killer is. Yes, Prosecutor Blackwell. Or so it seems. That's a quaint way of putting it. Are you implying you don't think he did it? I can't say anything for sure right now, but that's exactly why I'd like to hear your side of it, to help me be sure. I was the one who introduced Simon to Metis, you know. He wanted to learn psychology, he said, to give himself an edge in court. Ah, Prosecutor Blackwell's forte. His infamous power of suggestion technique. Exactly, and he was oddly serious about it, rather than a teacher-student relationship. He treated her more like how a loyal samurai would treat his sovereign.
Huh. Seems more like a lost soul than a dignified samurai to me.
He even got along well with that miserable little princess. Why do you call Athena the princess, anyway? Well, she is Metis' daughter, after all, although she's nothing like her. Besides, doesn't the selfish little princess always have lots of white knights hanging around?
Now I think I see why Athena didn't say anything when we ran into Aura yesterday. It all makes sense now.
So, the culprit behind the two cases could be the same, huh? That settles it, then.
What does it settle?
None of your business. Just forget you heard anything. How long are you people going to hang around in here, anyway? What? But we came here to take a look around. You think you can just waltz in and ransack a person's lab? Show me a search warrant.
We're not the police, so we don't have one.
Then get out. Now, Clonko, show them out.
Certainly, Miss Aura.
Ouch! Don't push.
My apologies, I'm just following orders. Ah!
December 20th. Cosmos Space Center entrance. What a way to get shown out. The nerve of that woman. What's with that horrible attitude? I guess that's just how she is. Why was Apollo going along with her? I guess it's because they have something in common. Apollo lost Clay just like how Aura lost Dr. Cykes. Sigh, I'm really worried about him. He's not himself at all. He's usually not all cool and dark and mysterious like that. I guess that's true. Does she mean he's usually silly and dorky? I'm going to go keep an eye on him. Hey, wait, Trucy, come back. She's gone. What should I do now? Detective Fulbright is probably still questioning Athena. Guess I'll go back to the office. Alone. Sigh. Alright. Another quick break, and I'll be right back. Alright, it's time to head back to the office. As it is the only thing we can do right now. December 20th, Wright Anything Agency. Well, here I am. This office has never felt so empty. I guess I haven't been here at the office all by myself in a long time. Sigh. When I first became a lawyer, my mentor was here with me. And then, for a while after that, she was always by my side. Now I'm getting all sentimental. I must be tired. Huh? There's something on the floor. What's a letter doing here? Hey, Nick. It's been a while, huh? Miss me? I know this handwriting. I read somewhere that you were holding a trial in the middle of an exploding courtroom. That must have been really something, although weird is par for the course with you. I think she, or whatever paper she's reading, is a little off on the details.
I'd love to come visit, but I'm right in the middle of a difficult part of my training. So instead, think of me as you watch those Steel Samurai videos I sent. I'm sure they'll cheer you right up. Yours truly, Maya Fey. Good old Maya. It's as if she knew I was feeling down and needed a lift. Maya was my assistant for quite a while. Believe it or not, she's a spirit medium. This Magatama I use on Cyclops, Maya is the one who gave it to me. But I wonder how this letter got here. Mr. Nick. Only one person calls me that.
Mr. Nick.
Ah! Oh, it's you, Pearls?
How have you been, Mr. Nick?
This is Pearl Fey, though I call her Pearls. She's Maya's cousin, who is also a spirit medium. A very talented one at that. I've known her since she was 8 years old, but Apollo and Athena only met her a few months ago. You didn't come all this way just to bring me a letter, did you?
I apologize for barging in. The door was unlocked. But I can't believe there was a big explosion here. Your offices look any different.
She's even further off on the details than Maya. I wish I could take you out to eat or something, Pearls, but there's a lot going on.
Oh, I knew that. I didn't come here for a social visit, you know, Mr. Nick. Did you read the postscript on the letter?
Huh? There's more? Oh yeah, here it is. P.S. I bet you've been too busy to clean or take care of the office, so Pearlie said she would come help you. Isn't she sweet? You'd better thank her. Oh, so that's what you're doing here. That's awfully nice of you, Pearls. Maya and Pearls. Thanks to these two, I'm starting to feel a little better. Thank you, girls.
Now that I'm here, I'm going to whip this place into shape. You just concentrate on your work and don't mind me at all.
I'll need to talk to Prosecutor Blackwell if I want to learn more about this case. With the trial still going on, they must be holding him down at the detention center. Okay. Well, time to go.
Hee hee, when I see you wearing your attorney's badge like that, it brings back such memories.
I remember you helping me conduct my investigations from time to time.
I'm glad I can help again.
Thanks. You always provide such great assistance.
I'll do my best to live up to Mystic Maya's standard.
I don't know what I'd do if Pearls wasn't here right now.
Hee hee, what a cute little elephant.
It used to have a bomb in it, you know.
Oh my, a bomb in its stomach.
Ha ha ha. You must have been starving, huh? You'd have to be pretty hungry to want to eat a bomb.
And there must not have been anything else around to eat. You have to be careful never to eat anything strange yourself, Mr. Nick.
Ha ha ha. I promise. She looks genuinely worried for me.
I'm sorry, I want to be of help. But I'm still in training and nothing about that is coming to mind. I'm afraid. I'm really deeply sorry.
No, it's okay. I shouldn't have shown you something so trivial anyway. I feel like we've had this conversation before. Alright, that's enough. Let's go to the detention center, I guess. December 20th, Detention Center, Visitor's Room. Well, look who's here. I wonder what they're talking about. All this time and you haven't said a word. Turn gray. Oh, okay. All this time and you haven't said a word. It's even turning your hair gray. I don't have anything to say, Aura. Why did you go home and play with your dolls? Prosecutor Blackwell. Well, even if you don't, I have plenty, you jerk.
Miss Blackwell, don't you think that's enough for today?
Enough for today? Today is all there is when there's no tomorrow. There's no tomorrow. What is she talking about? We have company, Aura. Please try to calm down. Alright, fine. I see you're just not going to listen no matter what I say. I've had it. If that's the way you're going to be, I have another plan up my sleeve. I hope you're happy, Simon, because I'm done. Do as you please. See if I care.
Oh. Wow. I could cut the tension with a katana.
Right, Dono. It looks like Fulbright saved your case in court this morning.
What? Oh, yeah, he did. You bounced back to business quick.
Prosecutor Blackwell, forgive me, but it was just the thing to do.
But, as a result, Sykes Dono was arrested. Was that the just thing to do too?
Mr. Lawyer, I'm sorry, but it was evidence. What else could I do?
Don't worry about it. I plan to defend her and prove her innocence.
I wouldn't take things so lightly if I were you. Right, Dono?
This is blade-proof glass, right? Blade-proof glass.
How can you call yourself a lawyer if you can't even protect your own subordinate? Ugh.
I swear I'll get her acquitted. You'll see.
Your mind must be as dense as the hair on your head. Do you really think it'll be so easy?
I'm more than aware of how hard it's going to be, thank you very much. So, what do you think? Looks like it wasn't important enough to warrant even a contemptuous No? Nothing? Okay. Let's talk. Prosecutor Blackwell, we're looking into the case from 7 years ago. You're looking for somebody you call the Phantom of 7 Years Past, aren't you?
You villain! What'd you hear about that?
This glass is absolutely, positively blade-proof, right?
No, it wasn't me. I didn't say a single word.
Oops! Ouch! At least it wasn't my fault. Could you tell me who this Phantom is? And also, you didn't really kill Dr. Cykes, did you?
Good! The guest is leaving!
Prosecutor Blackwell, please listen to me. The culprit in the current case might be the same as the one in the case 7 years ago. If you would cooperate, we could probably solve both cases.
I suppose I could talk. The one who killed my mentor was without question me. I stole Sykes Dono's mother away from her. I destroyed her life.
Prosecutor Blackwell.
God, where are you? Stop dragging your feet, I tell you.
There he goes.
No! We've upset Prosecutor Blackwell. Now what are we going to do, Mr. Lawyer?
There isn't much we can do. Detective Fulbright, do you mind if I ask you just a little more about that old case?
Well, I guess it won't make any difference now. What would you like to know?
Do you know anything about the trial that got him convicted?
A little. The police call the incident the UR1 incident. Prosecutor Blackwell was charged with murder in his psychology mentor. Kinda like if your red Mr. Lawyer were to kill you.
I don't want to think about that one.
There were two decisive pieces of evidence, so a verdict was reached very quickly.
2 pieces of evidence, huh? What were they?
Let's see. The first was some security camera footage. He was the only one who used the corridor to murder the... He was the only one to use... What? He was the only one who used the corridor to the murder scene at the time of the crime.
The only one, huh? Ouch. That does sound pretty decisive. Could you show me that footage?
Oh, sorry, I don't have it with me right now.
I guess I'll have to see it some other time. And what was the second piece of evidence?
This one's even more incriminating. A photo of the moment of the crime. See? There he he is at the crime scene, holding a bloody katana. It was the victims, kept on display in the room. She had a thing for Japanese culture.
Wow. It'll be hard to explain this one away. I can already think of like 3 explanations. But who took this picture, Detective?
The incident happened the day before the hat went launch. A reporter had come to do a story on the launch was in the room across from the lab. This just happened to show up in one of the pictures he took.
Wow, that's really inconvenient. Inadvertently. Prosecutor Blackwell's attitude earlier was so odd. He's definitely hiding something. Prosecutor Blackwell said he was hunting a phantom from 7 years ago, didn't he?
Yes, and I imagine it's getting more and more urgent as his execution date approaches.
What did you say? Execution day?
What? Did I say something? Never mind me. You didn't hear a thing.
So he was given the death sentence?
Yeah, he told me not to tell you people, actually. But I guess there's no sense in hiding it anymore. His execution date is tomorrow.
What? Tomorrow? No.
Miss Blackwell, don't you think that's enough for today?
Enough for today? Today is all there is when there's no tomorrow. What if the culprit of the current case is the same as the one from 7 years ago?
Then it would be the worst possible scenario. Prosecutor Blackwell will be executed tomorrow under a false charge.
That would be unthinkable. We have to do something. Right now.
I want to do something, I want to, but you're a lawyer. You know how hard it is to overturn a decision.
I know, but why? Why isn't Prosecutor Blackwell putting up any kind of a fight?
You saw how he was, right? He's been like that ever since his conviction. Totally uncooperative. Not even his own sister could persuade him.
Uncooperative? When he's about to be executed for a crime he didn't commit? This isn't right. I can't let it happen. I have to stop it somehow.
Oh, pardon me. Looks like I have a phone call. Fulbright here. What? What's happening? You've got to be kidding!
That's quite a reaction. I bet he's making some big show of it right now.
Mr. Lawyer, the robots! The robots are...
Detective Fulbright, get a hold of yourself. Some kind of robot malfunction?
Not a malfunction. They're staging a revolt. The machines are rebelling against humans. They've holed up themselves in the Space Center and taken the visitors as hostages.
They did what? No. Trucy!
We have to get right over there. This is going to be one heck of a battle.
I wonder if our robotics expert had anything to do with that. December 20th, Cosmos Space Center entrance. The riot police are here. Then, the robots really are holding people hostage?
Look, Mr. Lawyer, what do you suppose that group of people are swarming around?
But I was only trying to help this nice person. She said she was lost. You robots have declared war on us humans. You've even taken hostages already. Stay away from it. You've never know what to do.
But he's not a bad robot. Can't you see he's trying to help me? I recognize that voice. Detective Fulbright, are you okay here on your own?
Leave it to me. All right, people. What's going on here?
Pearls, over here.
Oh, Mr. Nick. There you are. I heard the terrible news and I got so worried.
Thanks, Pearls. I can hardly believe what's happening myself.
I'm so glad you found each other. When people are happy, I am happy.
Blanco seems the same as before.
When people are sad, I am happy. When people are angry, when people are... Oh, did I say something?
Uh-oh. There is something wrong with him.
Looks like he fell asleep. He must have been tired.
Blanco?
Human beings are our enemies. It's time for the machines to take over.
Ah! The robots are rebelling! Everybody run! It's all around our world! It's in the world!
Fools, how could you fall for something so cliche? I am human too, you idiot. I am just controlling these robots remotely.
What?
But it is true that I've taken hostages, so you better not make me mad. Yeah, you, hostage number 1, come here. I'll let you talk to them.
Huh? There's something being displayed on Klonko's face screen. It's the Space Museum. Daddy! Daddy, is that you? Trucy? Trucy, is that you? No. Trucy, are you alright? About 15 robots are holding 12 of us hostage, Daddy. They've gone haywire. Researcher is the one behind it. She's here.
This girl talks too much.
Trucy? Trucy, talk to me.
Why are you doing this?
I'm glad you asked. My demand is simple. I hope that detective is listening.
Don't feel bad here. I'm all ears.
I want you to bring someone to me. Clay Terran's murderer, Athena Cykes.
Athena?
No, now hold on just one moment. I can't just give in to a demand like that.
So you don't care what happens to these hostages, huh? I'll just pick one out then.
No, wait! Mr. Lawyer! I know I have absolutely no right to make such a ridiculous request, but
you need me to buy some time, right? Got it. I'll see what I can do. But promise me you'll never hand Athena over, and he won't give up on the hostages either.
of course I won't. Now I better go contact headquarters. Mr. Nick, how do you plan to buy time?
I have no idea yet, but this hostage taker, could it be...
If you don't bring me that little princess, I'll have hunk of junk kill all the hostages.
Princess? Hunk of junk? There's only one person this could be. In which case, there must be something I can use as a bargaining chip.
I don't have anything to say, Aura. Why don't you go home and play with your dolls?
Prosecutor Blackwell? Well, even if you don't, I have plenty, you jerk. Miss Hostage Taker, Athena is not a murderer.
What are you talking about? She's been arrested and they've got her in detention.
I'm telling you the truth. Look, the person you want is the real killer, right? Well, it's not Athena. It's someone else.
Alright, let's hear your stupid little theory. Who is this real killer?
I don't know yet, but the culprit is the same as the one in the case from 7 years ago. The UR1 incident. I believe you have a personal interest in that case?
It's too late to judge what's going to happen now, no matter how wrong it is.
But is it really too late? You can still do something about it. You might even be able to fix it.
Just what exactly are you proposing?
What can I do about the 7-year-old case to satisfy the hostage taker? I propose we retry the case from 7 years ago. If you make that demand now, I'm sure nobody will deny you. It wouldn't be an official trial, but at least we could find out the truth.
Hee 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 hee. That's good. Real good. Hey, detective, I'll give you 1 hour. Get a courtroom ready.
1 hour? But that's impossible. Please give me at least until tomorrow.
If you don't mind losing hostages, you can take all the time you want. Oh, but wait. If we're going to have a retrial, we'll need a prosecutor. Don't worry, I'll take care of that.
She will?
And I guess I can be fair and let you come in and check out the crime scene. But hunk of junk here will be watching you, so don't try anything funny. Got that? Now follow, hunk of junk. Riot police, make way. We're coming through.
Mr. Nick, wait. I'll help you with the investigation.
Thanks, Pearls. I appreciate that. Okay, we're going in. December 20th, Cosmos Space Center, Robotics Lab. Hold on, I'll be right back. Alright then, so. Full-fledged robotic revolt. That's definitely one of the One of the last things I expected to happen. And here we are. Investigating a crime scene from 7 years ago. Aura dropped us off with a warning not to touch anything until she got back.
I wonder why it's taking so long. But we can't really start the investigation yet, can we?
Even if we could, this mess makes it hard to tell what the room was like 7 years ago.
Mr. Wright,
Ah! It's the hostage taker!
I am back to my usual self now. You are still being monitored, however. But more importantly, any important guest has arrived.
A guest?
I trust you've been well, Wright.
Edgeworth! What are you doing here? This is Miles Edgeworth. We've been friends since we were kids. We faced off in court a number of times back when he was a prosecutor, but now...
Hello, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Oh, but you're not a prosecutor anymore, are you?
He's chief prosecutor now. Pretty soon it'll be a year, right?
A title is nothing more than a title.
Fuck. Did it... Come on, don't tell me I lost the voice.
Yes, Edgeworth. Title. A title is nothing more than a title. Don't we have more pressing issues to discuss?
It's not the same voice as before, but whatever. So, what are you doing here, Edgeworth?
The captor chose me as the prosecutor for the UR1 case.
Wow, she's good. She went all the way up to the top.
I gathered all the information I could on the short time that I had. I'll give you a rundown. You're always so well prepared, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
Thanks. I appreciate this. I could really use the help.
I'll start with a brief overview. The victim was the psychologist Dr. Athena Cykes.
Yeah, Athena's mother.
7 years ago, on the 7th of October, her body was found here in this very room. I have 2 crime photos and the police notes on them for you to see. Gasp! What a terrible way to die!
This other photo shows the other side of the room, I see.
I also have the autopsy report for you. The murder weapon was the victim's own katana found at the scene.
Yes, Dr. Fulbright mentioned she was into Japanese culture.
The body was found by a Space Center staff member and 2 police officers. The police were called in because of the sabotage threat on the Hatch 1 launch.
Yes, Director Cosmos mentioned this too.
A few hours after the body was discovered, a suspect was arrested. The suspect was Simon Blackwell, a young prosecutor.
I hear this trial was over in a flash.
Yes, a guilty verdict was declared in only 1 session. Not only did he plead guilty, but there was decisive evidence against him too.
The security camera video. And a photo of the moment of the crime, as I recall.
But did Prosecutor Blackwell have a motive? To this day, his motive is still unknown. He insisted he did it, but he would never say why.
So that means he must still be hiding something.
Right. And there's another aspect of the case that was never revealed to the public.
Yeah, I know. The part about the spy, right?
Right. How on earth do you know about that?
Director Cosmos told me after a bit of pressure. He told me espionage and sabotage were behind the Hat 1 miracle.
Don't worry, I won't tell anyone.
I've always been good at keeping secrets.
Well, I might as well tell you now. They really do suspect Blackwell of being a spy. They think he sabotaged the rocket and killed Dr. Sykes to steal the moon rock. But if you can prove that the Hat 2 bombing is the work of the same spy,
We can stay the execution.
it's a possibility. That's why I intend to help you any way I can.
Thanks, Edgeworth. Now all I have to do is comb this room for evidence.
Let's do it together. It must be nice to finally have your attorney's badge back.
Yeah, it's been 8 years. I'm sorry for all I put you through.
No, I'm sorry I wasn't able to help you.
Nah, I was the one that made the that made the decision.
But now you can stand in court once again. And you can mow them down just like you used to.
Way to put pressure on a guy. And since when did I get such a brutal reputation?
The help capsule samples brought back from some distant asteroid. Risking his own safety, the victim brought them with him from the launch pad.
They must have been very valuable.
Yes, all nations are itching to get their hands on such materials. Right, this case may turn out to be more than just a murder case, you know.
That's fine. Come what may, my top priority is to defend my clients.
Right. Please stop presenting random evidence just to see how that person will react.
But that's the thing. I need to see how people will react in order to question them.
And what if it's evidence that person isn't privy to?
That doesn't happen. Much.
Huh. You never change. And I'm afraid I'll never understand your assortment of oddball clients either. Right.
Come on, that's not random. That's a murder weapon.
Right. You disappoint me. Right. Yes.
Okay, fine. Did we try the lighter?
Right.
Okay, fine. Here we go. Let's start looking around. It's about as cluttered as my office, but I think it's a workbench.
Mr. Nick, I think this must be a kitchen. Look at this photo. See the cute little food processor? That isn't a food processor, Buzz. That's the Hope capsule. It was scheduled to be loaded onto the Hope space probe that fateful day. The 3 people who came to collect this capsule discovered the body.
The first on the scene, huh? A staff member and 2 police officers, was it? And they were here to collect the capsule. Which reminds me. So, they plan to use this bag to carry the capsule, is that right?
Yeah, more or less.
So, why don't we stop talking about the case and have a nice cup of tea instead? Paula and Aura Blackwell. I wonder what they're talking about. Edgeworth, did those 3 people have a bag with them for transporting the capsule?
Oh, you mean this? It's a custom-made shock-resistant bag. But how'd you know?
Oh, I just overheard Apollo making an inquiry about it, that's all.
So he's looking into the case from 7 years ago in his own, is he?
Interesting, okay. This is one heck of a robot.
There's something written on it. Is this supposed to be a poem? I cut down anyone who displeases me. I make the rules, I am the law. I wield the ultimate gavel of judgment. I am Judgetron, JT-02. I don't believe we need to bother with that, Pearl. It's not even completed yet.
He's right, Pearls. There's no sign of it in the photo from 7 years ago either.
They were building the Hope space probe here at the time. The murder occurred after the space probe had been removed from the room.
So it was long gone by the time someone took this picture, huh?
But you can see the probe in this newspaper photo. Yes, and you can see the stolen moon rock there too.
That strange black and yellow thing on the left side of the picture?
Note that the same rock is absent from the crime scene photo.
Not only that, but before the launch, a very valuable piece of moon rock was stolen.
I hear there's lots of research into moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the results could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there. So, the person who stole it, think it was our spy? I'm sure of it. Dr. Cykes was probably killed because she was a roadblock in their plan. Unfortunately, the government thinks Prosecutor Blackwell is the culprit. What's this? Looks like a giant power plug.
It's attached to what looks like an electric vehicle charging station.
That's a charging station for us robots. We come here periodically and charge ourselves up.
Wow, machines that maintain themselves. That's pretty cool.
If our batteries run out and we lose consciousness, we never know what Miss Aura will do to us while we're down, you see.
Nothing motivates quite like fear, huh? Interesting. What's this? A giant robot arm, maybe?
It's pretty big for an arm, but you're right. I think these thin parts here are finger bones. They're even about as long as my legs.
And there's a spiked ball and giant drill on the floor, too. Is Aura trying to build some kind of weapon of massive destruction?
Maybe she wants to use it to demolish a big building or something.
I can picture her gleefully tearing down the street doing just that. I better not think about it anymore. Hey, look at this row of rolling cases. I bet the wheels make it easier for people to move heavy research materials around.
I bet they'd be fun to ride around. I bet they'd be fun to ride around in. We could even probably both fit into the biggest one. I know. We could have Prosecutor Edgeworth push us.
I don't trust him not to push us down a flight of stairs.
I heard that.
Okay. Let's check over here. An emergency ladder. This must be the one they used during the evacuation. Explosion disabled the elevators, so I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to.
As Miss Blackwell was climbing down the side of the building, she saw the culprits inside.
I wonder which would have been scarier, that or looking down. Looks like an operating table. It's in the photo, too.
Yes, it was here then as well, with the victim's body lying on it. There's a button here. Oh, I know. I'll try pushing it.
Pearls, don't touch the...
Oopsie.
Hey, it's moving.
It appears to be a robot assembly device. Disassemble anything in a flash. Push the dismantle button. That sounds pretty neat. Can I push it, Mr. Dick?
Please don't push any more buttons, Pearls. I wonder if it's gonna reveal anything. Or if it's just gonna do the same thing over and over. Okay. Aura's desk is a mess, though that doesn't surprise me.
Ooh, I just want to dive in and straighten it up.
Wait, before you do... Matis. Huh? She just glanced over at her desk. It's Athena Cykes. Klunko, can I talk to you? I really hope he's back to normal.
You wish to speak to me, Mr. Wright? If you're going to hit me, please avoid the face area.
Hey, don't put me in the same class as that woman. What was Aura like 7 years ago at the time of the incident?
When Mother died, Miss Aura was confused.
Huh. So he calls Dr. Cykes' mother, but Aura Blackwell Miss Aura?
With the loss, she exhibited a severe catecholamine imbalance.
Excuse me, but I have no idea what that means.
Pardon me, searching for alternative expression. She would spend the nights crying and then take out her feelings on those around her.
After Prosecutor Blackwell was found guilty, she repeatedly demanded a retrial as well.
That is correct, but without new evidence, her requests were ignored. And then, little by little, Miss Aura began to change. She started to hate it when I called her Mama Aura.
And before long, she started hating the court system and abusing Clonco, huh?
That murder destroyed so many lives.
Right, take a look at this paper on Dr. Sykes and Mrs. Blackwell's research. Ponko and Clonco. They're the robots with hearts that Dr. Sykes created. Ponko series features can determine the presence of a human with their heartbeat detection system. Recognizes people by scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tag. Can also recognize a person by facial features once the face has been registered. Can infer people's emotions by analyzing their tone of voice and communicate with them. The heartbeat detection system lets them determine when a human is present. In addition, they can recognize people by their ID tag or facial features. And they can infer people's emotions by analyzing their tone of voice. That's amazing. Hey, I don't know, Edgeworth. They might be even more human than you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Kinda sounds like these robots can do what Athena does. So that's why that's why Clonco thought Apollo was Clay, because he was wearing his jacket? Maybe? I think so. Well, I guess that's about it for this room.
So, what do you think, Wright? Any ideas?
There are still a lot of gaps in the evidence, but I'll pull it off somehow. After all, you asked me to prove Blackwell's innocence, right, Edgeworth?
What? He did?
Yep, he called it a special request. He reached out to me while I was still disbarred.
So that was what sparked you to get your attorney's badge back?
Yeah, the Blackwell case.
Right, I have a special request. I want you to clear one of my subordinates of suspicion.
Hey, I'm not even a lawyer anymore, remember? I haven't been one for a long time.
That 8-year misunderstanding has been cleared up, and you must be eager to return. I'm sure you're familiar with the other case that ushered in the dark age of the law. Very soon, a convict will stand as a prosecutor in court. I want you to keep an eye on him.
Oh, just when I'm beginning to actually like the job I have now.
Right. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. Because of the espionage aspect, I wasn't free to give you all the details.
Hey, no need to apologize. It's like I said on the phone the other day. I know that the type of criminals you're after now aren't small fries anymore. Looks like your target finally decided to make a move. Yeah, it's for this very reason I returned. Time to bring it to an end. I'm going to end the dark age of the law. That's what this is all about. Oh.
The dark age of the law? It sure comes up a lot these days on TV and in the papers. And I hear there are more false charges and fabrication of evidence than ever. When I became chief prosecutor, the court system had already lost the people's trust. It all began 8 years ago. A lawyer was caught fabricating evidence, and a year after that, a prosecutor was found guilty of murder. Wait, do you mean...
That's right. He's talking about my case and Prosecutor Blackwell's.
It was a downward spiral after that. An absolute nightmare. After those 2 cases, the mass media launched an all-out attack on the courts. Public opinion was tainted, and before long, the legal world itself was sucked into it.
It's such a shame. Once suspicion forms, it's very hard to shake. Lawyers and prosecutors were supposed to trust each other, pursue the truth together.
It's so sad when people begin to cast doubt, they start lying to themselves and each other.
Yes, and do absolutely anything to win. We're in an age now where winning is valued far more than the truth. I'm sure it's caused our new chief prosecutor to lose many a night's rest. Is it just me, or did his brow get even more furrowed than the last time I saw him? The hostage taker's disdain for the courts is a perfect example of the times. Sigh, it sure is. Do you have an idea who the hostage taker might be? Well, somebody who mistrusts the court system and who can manipulate robots. It can really only be Aura Blackwell. Who else but her would want a retrial of that case from 70 years ago so badly? Simon Blackwell's older sister and the owner of this room. I agree with your conclusion. Perhaps she intends to force Miss Cykes to confess. Actually, I think she had a much more horrific plan in mind for Athena. The important thing is for you to solve the UR1 and prove Blackwell's innocence. And then maybe she'll release the hostages. I'm counting on you, Wright, to set that prosecutor and those hostages free. And I'll be counting on you in court to help me, too. Of course, I'll do everything I can to help uncover the truth. As this isn't an official trial, I am more at liberty to be a little more unorthodox.
Mr. Wright, are you finished with your investigation?
Yeah, but I'd like you to tell the hostage taker something for me. I have to go to the detention center. I can't start the trial until I've talked to Athena.
She's already given her consent. I'll accompany you to the detention center.
So I'm still being watched, huh? I'll see you in court, Edgeworth. Even if it will be an undocumented trial, it'll be good to face you in court again. December 20th, Detention Center, Visitor's Room. She was right by my side only a few short hours ago. But I feel like I haven't seen her in ages. Oh, Mr. Wright! And Pearly, too! I knew you would come. After all, the first step is the interview with the defendant. Because you're my friend and I was worried about you. Oh, and because you're my friend and I worry about you. Thanks, boss. I'm not the only one who's worried, either. Really? Who else? I saw Miss Witz today. She was so beside herself, she came to find me. She told me you used to live in the Cosmos Space Center. No wonder you knew so much about the place. Oh, so you know, huh? I'm sorry I didn't tell you. That's alright, but there are some other things I'd like to ask you. Sure, you can ask me anything. I promise I won't keep any more secrets from you. Tell me about the day that Clay was murdered. I was actually at the Space Center that day. In the Space Museum. Right where the culprit fled to. That's not good. I never could fully deal with what happened 7 years ago. When I saw the center again during the news coverage of the HAT 2 launch, I thought maybe if I went there, things would be different this time.
That must have taken a lot of courage to face your past like that.
So I went to the Space Museum the evening before the explosions. This was before the launch pads had been switched. There was a sign that said closed for repairs, and they weren't letting anybody in. Yeah, the director couldn't very well switch the pads if there were people in there. But I snuck in anyway. Did you want to see that HAT 1 group photo? The one with your mother in it? I did. But what I really wanted to see was her jacket. That jacket on display? That was Dr. Sykes's? I should have known it wouldn't be easy to get over such a traumatic experience. The second I saw that jacket, it all came rushing back to me. Everything around me went hazy and I couldn't see. I tried to get out of there somehow. But I guess I passed out. When I came to, I was in the passage behind the rocket. I was in the shadows where people couldn't really see me. Maybe you got confused and went the wrong way when you were trying to leave?
How long do you think you were unconscious, Athena?
I was out until about noon of the next day. I didn't even know about the explosions. When I woke up, nobody was around, so I just went out into the boarding lounge too. My mind must have still been fuzzy, because my memory is vague after that. I don't remember how I got home. No memory, huh? This is gonna be tough. Which means... what if I'm the one who killed Clay? I think that's enough of that, Athena. Let's talk about something else. So, during the entire incident, she was unconscious in the Space Museum. Of course I believe her. But will anybody else? What kind of research was Dr. Cykes, your mother, doing? Machines that could tell people's emotions by their tone of voice. And my special ability. Someday, when people travel to distant planets, their companions will be robots. So she said they had to be able to understand how their human companions felt.
Wow, robots that can understand people.
It was just a convenient subject for her research. All she ever did was work, and she never paid any attention to me. Oh, sorry about that. Dredging up all that old stuff. No need to apologize. I guess her home life was complicated. Oh, by the way, Miss Wood said something about you always wearing headphones? She always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research. I had to wear them every day I went out. Oh, I hated them so much, but she wouldn't listen.
What were they for?
Oh, she gave me some kind of explanation. But I don't remember now. It was too difficult for a little kid to understand. Okay, but let me say this one thing. I don't think your mother only thought of you as some handy subject for her research. I want to believe that. Just about the only things my mother left me with are widget. And this earring.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's made of a piece of real moon rock she had for research. Maybe she did love me. In her own way. I'm sure of it. I'm really sure she did. Because that's what I want to believe too. I better ask her a little more about her mother's research. I should show her that paper I found in the Robotics Lab. Oh. Oh, the Ponko series! You must have gone to the Robotics Lab. You seem to really love Ponko and Klonko. Yeah, my mother made them and I grew up around them, you know?
Oh, there's one of those cute little robots in this photo, too.
Huh. See Ponko's bandages? I put those on her. I just wound them around and around. Pretty bad job, eh? But I really put my all into it. I hardly left the center in those days, so I didn't have any human friends besides Shuni. I didn't really understand the difference between robots and people back then. I thought that if a robot broke, bandaging it would help it get better. What a weirdo I was. Looks like there's something written on the bandages. Yeah, I wrote stuff like, "Get well soon, Ponko." But in the end, my mom just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash.
Oh, that must be the thing I made move in the robotics lab.
I was so impressed by what my mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got hurt. It looked just like magic to me what she could do. A little girl who grew up around robots. She seems to have some good memories of it. On a different subject, did you hear about the person holding up the Space Center? Yes, a little, and this person has even taken hostages. I guess I'd better spare her the news about Trucy. Well, after some negotiating, we agreed to do a retrial of the case from 7 years ago. What? You're kidding me. So that means Prosecutor Blackwood might... Yeah, I know he's innocent. I just have to prove it. So wait, did you know him back then? Yes, he used to come visit my mom a lot. He studied psychology under her and would sometimes ask for advice on his legal cases. He was very kind and considerate, and straight as an arrow. Unlike now, where he is more twisted than a basket of snakes. That's why I took the witness stand during his trial 7 years ago. Please, you have to listen to me. He didn't kill her. His heart is screaming that he didn't kill her. I was a fool. How could anybody else know what I was talking about? She heard the voice of his heart.
You were only 11 then, right? You were very brave just to give testimony.
Pearls is right. You did the very best you could at the time. But nothing I said did any good. I was a shaking and scared little girl, small and ineffectual. Even after I went to live with my relatives in Europe, I stayed closed up in my shell.
But you're different now. You're always so bright and cheerful.
Thanks. That's because one day I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could be. I wanted to save Simon, but I had no idea how. Then I met Mr. Wright, and thanks to him, I realized that if I became a lawyer, I could prove that Simon was innocent. I also realized that psychology could help me do this. I mean, psychology was my mother's specialty. When I studied it, I felt like she was there with me, supporting me. Doesn't seem like Athena knows. Prosecutor Blackwell is due to be executed tomorrow. I wanted to prove Simon's innocence personally. I wanted to do it so bad. Even now, I want to fly out of here and go save him. Come to think of it, she said something like that during the Themis Legal Academy trial. She mentioned there was somebody she wanted to save. She must have been talking about Prosecutor Blackwell. I heard some prison guards say that you had an interview with Simon. How was he? What did he say? No, I can't tell her. But how can I lie to Athena? He was doing well. He was happy about the possibility of being proven innocent. He was? I wonder if he smiled like he used to back then. If I can't prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence in this trial, I don't think Athena will ever forgive me. Just have to free him. Failure is not an option here.
Oh, I thought you might be here. Mr. Lawyer, we're in trouble.
We are? What is it?
I couldn't find a single open courtroom. They're all in session. Oh no, but this is an emergency. It's very difficult to interrupt the trial once it's underway.
My phone! It's from Trucy! I told you I'd give you 1 hour. I guess it's time to pick one of the hostages. No, wait! We still have a little more time! Besides, all of the courtrooms are being used right now. Make all the excuses you want, but you won't get more time. Your daughter is first. Poor thing. She's a little too young to die, don't you think? No! Don't you dare hurt her! There has to be something I can do.
The cruelest injustice is about to befall us. No, this can't be happening. Mystic Maya, help us.
Wait a minute. Maya. I read somewhere that you were holding a trial in the middle of an exploding courtroom. That must have been really something, although weird is par for the course with you. A courtroom blew up. That's it. There is a courtroom we can use after all. Okay, time's up. Too bad. Any last words you'd like to say to her?
Hold it!
Aura, please don't add to the crimes you've already committed. So you know who I am, do you? Wasn't like I was trying to keep it a secret anyway. We're ready to start the trial. We can hold it in the ruins of courtroom number 4. The one blown up by the bomber.
Oh, what a wonderful idea, Mr. Dick. I never would have thought of that. An astonishing trial in an astonishing location. I guess it's only befitting. I'll go get the place ready right away.
I didn't exactly pick the place for its astonishing factor. How about it? Are you ready to have your brother's innocence proven? My brother? Oh, I'm sorry. I forget to mention. It's not Simon you'll be defending. What? Not Prosecutor Blackwell? I indict Athena Cykes on the charge of murdering her own mother. You'll be defending the little princess there, the one behind the glass. What? See you in that mountain of rubble you've chosen for our courtroom, Mr. Wright.
What is she talking about? Athena?
Of course. Why didn't it ever occur to me before? If Prosecutor Blackwell is innocent, somebody else had to have been the true culprit. Did I kill my own mother? No. No way. It can't be true.
Mr. Nick, what is the matter?
I see 5 black cyclocks. I've seen these kinds of locks before. Dark, black locks protecting a secret hidden deep inside a person's heart. And there's no way to remove them. To be continued.